Sanibonani, my name is Sibusiso Masipula. Namuhla siyobe sikhuluma the basics of ePremiere Pro. Like I'm gonna go through like the overview of what you see when you open Premiere Pro for the first time. And then the second thing, we're gonna show you how to import footage into a project, and also how to bring in footage or clips into a timeline or a sequence to make up your program. So it's gonna be as simple as that. Let's go. When you first open Premiere Pro, this is what you'll see. You'll see this floating window right here. So this window will show you all your recent projects that you're working on. These names here are the project that you're working on recently. So as you can see, there's a recent header at the top. So that's what's happening, but we won't go to this. We will go to the left hand side of this window, which shows you a button where you can create a new project and then or open a project. So what we are going to do, Tina Manje, so fully project. So I see again. So we open the project. This dialog will come up. Maufigala, just navigate to where your project is. I mean, you know how to use a computer, right? So let's just go to your project. Okay, so we go to this project and then the project open. Nice. So since now the project match. So now, what is happening here? Okay, so as you can see, we have different panels here. So these panels, this is what you are going to use to edit. These are your basic, this is like a basic layout when you edit. So on your left hand side, this is a project panel. Bloody hell. This panel, this is where you will see all the clips that are imported into the project. And then you'll have a source monitor. So a source monitor, this is where you preview your footage before you put together the sequence or the program. So this is where you preview. So as you can see, if I double click on all these clips that were imported by you, they appear in the source monitor or on the source monitor. So this is what the source monitor or the purpose of this panel is, as to preview your stuff. So it's a source monitor. It's almost like a source file preview monitor, so to say. And then down here you have your timeline. So the timeline has the clips that are in the sequence. So when you're putting together your program or your sequence, so to say, you're gonna put your clips in a sequence and stuff like that. You're gonna be using this panel right here, the timeline panel, where you put your clips in a timeline so you can see what is happening with them. The program monitor will show you what is in the sequence. So when you look at this blue line right here, this is I call it the timeline, because this whatever this line is on will show up in the program monitor, which is here. So if I move this line around, it shows you whatever is in the program monitor. So this is how you see how your program looks like, or how your clips that you've put together are sequenced, so to say. Yeah, so you have your timeline, which is this panel right here. You have your program monitor, which is this one right here, which shows you whatever is in the timeline or it's in the sequence. This is where you preview what you are editing. You have your source monitor, where you preview your source files, or so to say the footage, before you edit them or before you put them in the editing sequence. And then you have your project panel, where you see all the footage that were imported into this project. So right now that we've explained all of this, we will go back and then create a new project, so you can see how or what to do when you start a new project. So we're just gonna do that right now. So so we're gonna close this, and then we'll now create a new project. So right now we're going to open a new project. So we're gonna go to now this button where you open a new project. So you're gonna go open, and then now you're gonna have this dialog. So this is where you name your project, whatever you want to name it. So we're gonna name this edit 101. So this is what we're going to name it, and then you can browse here and then just go to where you want to save this project. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new folder here, call it edit 101, and then open the folder, select folder, and then save the project. So I'm not going to care about any of this other stuff right here, because this is a beginner's tutorial. So I'm just going to go in. So I'll go OK. And then, now this is what you see. You are seeing empty windows right now because there's no footage, there is nothing. So what are we going to do? We're going to import some footage. So as you can see here on this projects panel, import media to start. So that is what we're going to do. There's a few ways that we can do it. Okay, so the first way that I'm gonna go through to import any footage a project, it's this one. So you're gonna go up to file here. See at the top here, you're gonna go up to file, and then on the drop down you have to find import. Find import, and then you navigate to where your footage is. So I'm gonna go to my footage and I'm gonna select a file. You are able to select all the files if you want, but for this purpose I'm gonna select one for now, and then click open, and then footage is imported into the project. And then the second way to do it is to right click on the panel, on the projects panel. So if I right click here, go to import, as you can see there is import. Go to import footage, and then you're gonna have the same dialog, and then you can select a few clips if you want, or all of them. So I'm gonna select just one for this purpose, and then click open, and then the second clip is imported into the project. And then from there I'm going to show you another one. So if you just go to your Windows browser, you don't have to see now, this is just Windows browser. I am not in the project. So I'm out of the project, go to Windows browser, and then find where my footage is. So I'm going to go and find my footage. Find where my footage is. You can easily just highlight all this and then drag and drop all your footage into the projects panel. And then this is another way. You may call it a shortcut, but it's another way of importing footage into the project. This is how I usually do it. And then the second thing that we're going to do, we're going to create a sequence, because now you need a sequence file where you're going to now sequence all the clips that you need for the project, or for like the program or the edit. So let's go. So the first way to do it, again, go file, new, as you can see, and then go sequence. And then you click on sequence, you'll see this dialog. So I usually don't care much about all of these settings. Usually I just go down here, I name my sequence. So I'm gonna call this edit 101-1, because this is the first sequence that we are creating right now. So edit -1, okay, this is not named right. So edit D, yeah, there you go. Edit -1, click OK. Now we have a sequence. So as you could see, when I created the sequence on the down on the timeline here, now we actually have a timeline. We didn't have a timeline before. Let's say if I go here and then delete, like I'm just closing the timeline, the sequence is there, so I'm just closing it. When you look at the sequence, there's nothing here. Timeline, no sequences. But if you drop media here, you can create a sequence. Okay, so The second way to do it is to come down here. See here at the bottom there is this thing called new item, or you have to find the icon that looks like this, and then you can create whatever. So when you click here, there's a lot of things that you can create, but what we're looking for is a sequence. So sequence, so we go sequence, same dialog comes up, and then we name it. So we're gonna name it edit 101-2. This is my second sequence that I'm creating. So when you create a sequence, you're gonna see it on the timeline. You just take it and then you see a timeline of the sequence. So I'm gonna close this. I'm closing the sequence again because I'm gonna show you another way, which already is written here. Drag and drop media here. So to create a sequence, you can just drag your media, drop it on the timeline, and then you're gonna have a sequence created. As you can see, a third sequence has been created. So if I click on this, I can name it edit 101-3. Okay, now this is my third sequence that I've created. This sequence already has media on it, as you can see on the timeline. But the other ones are empty because I just created them. So we're gonna go to edit 101-1. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna close all the other sequences. Like I'm not deleting them, I'm just closing them. So I'm gonna close them so we're not confused. So now we have a sequence and its timeline that we can see on this panel. So how to now bring in a clip into the timeline or into a sequence? Like I showed you earlier, you can just drag and drop a clip here, and then when you do this, it will ask you if you want the sequence to keep its setting or its settings, or it will ask you whether you want to keep the sequence settings or take the sequence of the clip or the settings of the clips or of the clip that you're dropping, because you're dropping a clip for the first time. So it wants to know if you want to keep settings of your footage or keep the sequence thing. So keep existing or change sequence settings. So I'm gonna go change sequence settings because I want the sequence to have the settings of the clip so that we don't get problems. There's a lot of things that may happen if the sequence and the clips are not the same. You'll find out when you start editing. Anyway, so this is how you can bring a clip into a sequence. But now, what if you don't want to bring the whole clip? You want to bring a section, like a small piece of a clip of a whole recording. So how you do that is that you just double click on the footage that you want. This will appear on your timeline, on your source monitor. So in the source monitor, it's gonna be easy. So you got these two icons right here, mark in, mark out. So this is what helps you to take a piece of a clip. So you can if you move this here, see now this is the timeline of a clip. So if I put it here and I click this, it will mark an in point. This is where I want the clip to start. And then if I move it forward and then click the mark out icon, it will now mark the out point, so to say. So now this little piece right here, this is what I'm gonna bring into the sequence. How do I do that? So I'm gonna move my timeline forward, because when I insert a clip, it will start from where the blue line is, where the timeline is. So now that I've selected the clip here, this piece here of the clip, I am going to, now that I've selected the clip, I'm going to insert the clip. So if you look at these tools down here, this one here that says insert, this is where
this is what you press or click on to insert the piece of the clip that you've selected. So if I click on this, the selection or the piece of the clip will be on the timeline, as you can see. So you can do it like that. So there's two buttons here that I can bring a clip into a timeline. So if I move this forward and maybe go forward with my timeline, and then select mark in, and then move forward again and select mark out. So if I click this one, because last time I clicked insert, so if I click overwrite, it will bring the clip into the timeline. Just go play around with this, and then you'll see, you just understand what is happening, and you can rewind this video so that you see what I've been doing. But should be easy. Should be easy, man. All right. So Izame, and then yeah, you can put some stuff on the in the comments below and just maybe ask me some questions. But right here I was just trying to be basic. So you import footage, you put footage in timeline. So the next one, maybe we'll go advanced and maybe put something together, an actual program together for you to see what we do when we do this editing thing.